Welcome back to the journey. We've had a break, and this is a new year and some new episodes for the year 2023. And I'm happy to be back with you because there are a lot of journeys yet to be told and yet to be listened to. So I thought I'd start out this year with one of my tougher ones. And here to start out our new series of episodes is our special guest. And here he is. We have Father John Worgul. What do you think of that? We're going to do this sort of as a self-interview. There's nobody going to interview us. We're going to just start chatting and hope you find something of interest. Welcome, Father John.
Well, thank you.
Should I call you here. Father John?
That's a good question, and that's probably one of the things that everybody will want to hear about, right?
Yeah, people have asked me.
What do you call me?
Yeah, what should I call him? What do you call him?
Right.
I call him, come here, let's do this. So, we wanted to talk a little bit from the perspective of our marriage being sort of a unique little arrangement here. People ask me all the time. In fact, I got it again today. I told them that my husband was a Catholic priest, and the classic question, and you might be asking this too, how does that work? And so every time I get asked that, it's actually a new opportunity. And I'll tell you, I love talking, as you know, and I love listening to people ask questions and asking questions. So we're going to talk about that from the standpoint, first of all from our marriage, and then I'll talk about how it is to be a priest's wife. All right. So we had an unusual beginning because we were both in our, should we say, late 30s, and we had mutual friends who set us up as a blind date. Okay, ba-dum.
Yeah. She was blind and I was the date. Okay. The old joke here.
He loves to tell that joke, and it's a fun story because, at that point we realized we needed help to find the right person. And so our great friends prayed and made...
I'm a believer in arranged marriage.
I know. Really, so if anybody needs the same, we owe the universe another matchup. So, we're happy to do that. But our friends put us together to see what would happen, and lo and behold, it took, right? We met in April of '92 and we're married in December. And you like to say something about that, right?
Well, everything's got a plus and a minus. The plus about getting married later in life is you've been around the block a while, you have more intentionality, you know yourself better, and so on and so forth. So we started out on our first date doing life journeys. We've done some life journeying here over the years at St. Joseph. I shared her my life journey. She shared hers, and we started thinking right away of goals. Why are we getting married, and how can we two together, multiply what we could have done if we were separate, in the ministry. We were very ministry oriented, right?
Yeah, when we were dating, we walked on the beach and talked about, his vision for his future, my vision too, and I totally was ready and sort of, I guess, raised to be this because my father was a minister and my mother was a pastor's wife, and so I had a long history of mentorship, watching my mother do this.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of a natural thing for me, although I, didn't calculate that we'd be in this particular kind of situation. But actually, right after we were married, January 1st, we took a prayer day. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was his idea.
That's where we wrote up our goals, and one of them, believe it or not, was to work with Catholics. Of course, back then we were Protestants and we had a lot of nominal Catholic friends, and we wanted to see them get excited about Jesus, and we had no idea that we would become Catholic to work with Catholics.
Guys, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, right. So God does have his ways, doesn't he?
And so being that was 92 and we didn't get into the Catholic Church till 2012.
That's right. Yeah, it was a long journey, yeah.
That was a good, 20 years?
Right.
And then, lo and behold, here we are. So
yeah, but, a part of that was in year 2000 where we decided to join together a religious community that was Episcopalian in origin, but we would call it more Anglican now. And we actually became professed members with our kids. We raised them from 2000 to 2010. 9. Yeah, there. And it was there that we got into the rhythm of the Catholic calendar, and became more and more familiar with liturgy, and more, I guess we would say, more leaning in the Catholic direction, so that whenever the ordinary of the Chair of St. Peter opened up for Anglicans to come in, we were there at the front door.
We had our training. It was a good
Right.
training wheels for what we ended
Right.
up going into.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we really loved working together. We did a lot of work together as a community, as a couple, with other couples, with families, and it was certainly something that fulfilled the vision that we didn't even know was going to work out like that. And when the community folded, then we sort of went back to the drawing board a little bit. Why don't you tell that part? Because then you were Anglican.
Well, yeah. So I was already priested as an Anglican in 2001, but in 2009 I was priested again in another Anglican outfit, and finally in 2013 as a Roman Catholic priest. It's three and you're out. Okay, ordained 3 times. The third one stuck. Okay, so there was a bit of a transition into what we call the ordinariate. I started on staff here in 2014, and at the same time I was pastoring the little St. Timothy's Church that has now come over from Catonsville to our St. Joseph historic Catholic Church downtown Sykesville. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, so that interim was an Anglican time and the St. Timothy's ordinariate time, and then that's, when we entered the Catholic Church. And, it was probably more shocking for me than him, because for him to be a priest, like he said, he'd been ordained 2 other times. But this time felt very different because I was taking on that role as a Catholic priest.
Yes, tell us what that looks like. How's that for you?
Well, I watched my mother, right? I said I watched this Protestant pastor's wife all my life, and she was very involved. Plus, she had some talents and skills that I don't have. She played the piano. She was the choir director. She led the handbell. She did, like, you name it, she did.
That's the typical Protestant pastor.
Yeah, so
you have some gifts that she doesn't have, and
isn't he nice?
And one of them is interviewing people like this on a journey.
So I did. You're right. Thank you. I didn't have those, but other things. But the biggest shock, I guess, was just talking to people and knowing that, for the large measure, people didn't know what to do with me. They had never seen one of me before, and so I felt, and sometimes still feel, like an alien. And the role of a Catholic priest's wife, especially in a big parish like this, is it's just not anything like I've watched in the Protestantville. So I'm just hanging out, being myself, and when things happen, I'm happy to join in. But I do enjoy the journey, and it capitalizes on some of my professional skills. But I enjoy listening and sharing stories that increase faith. So I guess I'm my own little evangelist. I don't know.
You're trailblazing in a whole new way.
So if anybody else has a job description for a Catholic priest's wife, please feel free to send it to me. I'll take a look it over and see what can happen.
Well, I think our 15 minutes is up probably.
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks for inviting me into your show.
Well, thanks for coming. Great to have you on here. And I'm really excited about the journeys that we're going to be hearing the next couple months. And if you are interested in sharing your journey, I just want to encourage you. It's just talking about your life, and it's very simple and easy, but it's so helpful to people because little snippets of this and that are important for us to hear, to encourage us to take steps of faith, like we did.
And let me just say this. This program, The Journey, is one of the most popular ones that you are looking at. So this has an impact on the community. So,
Yeah. So we'll see you later.